honor to be amongst all of you who are working so hard, not just for your mental health, but for the brain and mental health of those you love and care for. And it's great to be here in the amazing state of Georgia, right? Right. I want to be clear. I moved 7 years ago from San Francisco, California, and boy, am I glad to be right here. So thank you very much. For those of you who watched the film Suicide: The Ripple Effect and you've learned part of my story, there's something in the film that wasn't mentioned, and that is where I came from. I was born to biological parents, as I'm adopted, Marcia and Martino. Martino, my birth father, was half Mexican and half Italian. My birth mother, Marcia, hailed from James Bond Island, Jamaica. She was Jamaican, Black, African, Arawak Indian, Portuguese, Scottish, Irish, English, and Sephardic Jew. What wasn't she? And Marcia and Martino, they fell head over heels in love in the 1970s, and by 1981, they had 2 infant boys, just 10 months apart, if you catch my drift. It only takes 9 months to make a baby. They move quick. They had us. Yeah, see, you got it. They had us, but they had nothing else. They had no feasible legal income. They were hustling to survive. We were born in severe poverty in San Francisco, in the worst neighborhood there then, the Tenderloin District, the worst neighborhood there today. We lived, in the beginning of my life, in and out of crack motels, the kind of places you paid for by the hour, and if you didn't, you were out. And mom and dad did whatever they had to do to pay on that hour, by that hour, to keep a roof over our heads. They didn't neglect us every day because they didn't love us. They neglected us every day because they loved us, because they wanted to keep us safe from the outside world. Until one day, being neglected from them every day, every hour, having them go outside and do, score, and sell drugs, it's my understanding that my very own birth mother had to sell herself. That was her life. Until one day, one seedy motel clerk made what I've always called his most unseedy decision. He heard our screams and cries, in his mind, one too many times. And he called the police. And that would prove to be the first best day of our lives. Because the police would come in with Child Protective Services, and they would swoop us up, smelling sour and putrid of our own filth from being neglected for so long. And they would place us into foster care. And that wasn't the good part. That was hard. We bounced around in foster care with one simple idea, that me and my brother were to be adopted together. Do you think that's what happened?
No. Nope.
Not by a long shot. And that system, just like the mental health system, is broken. They were allowing kids to age out into 18 into homelessness without a penny in their pockets.
That's right.
Allowing other kids to be abused and neglected when the very foster parents set to protect them. A system that still allows for both of those things to occur today, and it's appalling we haven't solved it. My brother and I bounced around from home to home, knew mom and dad every couple of days or weeks, and then in one of those homes filled with neglect, we both got a vicious strain of bronchitis, and my only full-blooded brother, Jordash, died right next to me. I immediately developed a severe detachment disorder from reality and abandonment issues that follow me until today. Every time somebody I love dies, I feel like they're leaving me on purpose and I can't shake it, no matter how much therapy I do, and I do a lot of therapy. Let's talk about Jordash. They say that Jordash looked exactly like me, down to the freckles, with blonde curly hair. Can you see it? Well, Jordash passed away, but unlike Jordash, I got lucky. I landed in my first great foster home, because they do exist. And Peter and Deborah Muller. Peter was in the Army, often having to be restationed. Debbie was a housewife, and they were a transitional home for kids. Many kids into their home at the same time, boys and girls of all ages, would go out to be adopted by different foster parents in the area. And one fateful day, a lovely young woman named Deborah Joan Hines walked in their door. Now, if you've been paying attention, you know my last name. Spoiler alert, this works out. Debbie walks in that door, fully expecting to take home one of the many little girls in the house. She had 4 or 5 to choose from. But the first thing she sees on the carpeted floor before her redheaded, wavy-haired, my birth name, Giovanni. Kevin Hines is not my biological name, it's my adopted name. My birth name, Giovanni Gabriel Prasad. Bellas, try saying that 10 times fast. All right, so I was born in squalor. I got adopted. I went through having 30 days of being violently ill with my family, and then finally got well because I was in a safe place for the first time ever. I got well, and Pat and Debbie Hines saved my life. They could have had natural-born children. They took in 3 kids that weren't their own and made them their own. Wow. My brother's black, my sister's white, I'm mixed, my parents are Irish and German now. People were confused. Right? But growing up in the Hines household was a beautiful thing. They gave us the world because of how hard they worked to do so. But at 17 and a half, it all came crumbling down. My brain broke. I had a complete mental breakdown in front of 1,200 people in a theater show, looking out into a packed audience. I ran off that stage thinking that 1,200 people were going to simultaneously rush the stage and end my life. Extreme paranoid delusion. The first severe of my bipolar type 1 with psychotic features, which turned out to be the very same brain disease both of my biological parents had before me when they called it manic depression. Genetically predisposed twice. I would grow up there with my dad, but at 17, my brain broke, and by 19, I was ready to take my life. And I found my way out to the Golden Gate Bridge. And I made the worst action of my entire existence. I jumped off. But that's not the important part of this story, unlike so many people will tell you. The millisecond my hands left that rail and my legs cleared it, I had an instantaneous regret for my actions and the absolute recognition that I just made the greatest mistake of my life. It was too late. For 99% of the people who have leapt off the Golden Gate Bridge, it's been too late. They never again get to share their stories. I'm making a point. I get to be here. And getting to be here is a privilege and a gift, no matter the pain you might be in. Hear my words, my new friends. I can call you my new friends, can't I? Yeah. Yes, my new friends. We all get to be here. Pain is universal, right? Pain is inevitable. It's coming for all of us if it hasn't already in one way, shape, form, or another. But suffering is optional. It's a choice. Before you judge that, hear me out. Every clinician I ever had told me I was suffering from bipolar, suffering from depression, suffering from mental illness, suffering from an eating disorder when I was on multiple occasions, anorexic and bulimic because of my wrestling days. I'm not ashamed to say that as a man, but they said I was suffering. What did I do? I adopted that narrative as my own, and I made myself a sufferer. But my friends, that only made me the victim of my own story. Until I realized, no. I can fight my pain. I can battle my pain. I can live with my pain, and I can thrive despite of my pain. And even though I was born in a crack motel, I've never suffered a day in my life. I've been given a company second chance at it. That 99% of the people who did the same thing I did didn't get to have. I get to be here. And so here we are today, together, in unison, on this walk for change with NAMI and all these other organizations trying to give back. And you know what our singular and sole purpose on this planet is? It's just that. To give back to those we know, those we love, those we don't know from Adam, and yes, my new friends, those we don't even like. What we are not meant to do on this earth is hurt each other with our words or our actions. That's a fact. So today I encourage you to go out there and fight for your causes and be the best you can be and introduce yourself to everyone around you and say, I got you. I'm here for you. And if you see anyone today struggling mentally, If you see anyone today crying or hurting because of what they've lost, who they've lost, don't walk around them. Don't walk by them. Don't walk over them. Walk up to them and say, what do you need from me? My friends, we are here for a reason. We have a purpose, and today's purpose is to be kind, compassionate, loving, caring, empathetic, and non-judgmental to every person we see, no matter their behavior towards us. I take nothing and no one for granted today like I used to. Ever since I survived that fall, and a sea lion literally came to my aid in the water and kept me afloat until the Coast Guard boat arrived behind me, a sea lion saved my life before the Coast Guard did. I did what all of you would do in that situation. I named him Herbert. But he saved my life. The Coast Guard pulled me out of the water. They secondarily saved my life. They asked me why I did what I did. You know what I said? I had no reasonable answer. I said, I don't know. I thought I had to die today. They said, son, do you understand how many people we pull out of these waters that are already gone? I said, no, and I don't want to know. They said, we're going to tell you anyway. They said, young man, this unit alone, this year alone, has pulled 26 dead bodies from these waters. And only one live one, you. That gave me the greatest point of perspective I've ever received in my life. And on that boat, I made a cognitive decision that no matter the pain I would be in ever again, I would never attempt to take my life so long as I shall live. I will die of natural causes at the ripe old age of 112, lying next to my lovely wife Margaret, holding her hand like in the film The Notebook that I never saw twice in front of me. I will always survive my pain, but let me be clear as I wrap this up. I live with chronic thoughts of suicide. I have for 22 years since my attempt off that bridge. But do you know what else I live with? Determination to stay. That's right. I promise you I am going to be here tomorrow and every day after that until I die of natural causes, or old age, or lightning strikes me, whatever happens first. I'm going to be here. And I promise you this, if any of you need my moral support, at Kevin Hines Story on all socials, you reach out to me. I'll be there. I care about every human being I come across. Why? Because I'm human, and so are you, and that's all I need. That's all I need. Today, my new friends, you are my gift now, not the other way around. Give yourselves a round of applause. I'll end with this. Yesterday is history. Tomorrow, it's a mystery. But today is a gift. That is why we call it the present. If y'all don't believe me, Master Oogway from Kung Fu Panda said that. Talking cartoon turtles always know what's up. Yesterday is history, tomorrow is a mystery, today is our gift. Let us always and forever cherish this day and every waking moment of this gorgeous gift we all get to call life. From the bottom of my heart, for myself, thank you very much.